Hey, it's League Bouncer bringing you my first tutorial video on the basics of how to jungle. So let's just jump right into it. Now, the first topic I wanted to talk about is buffs. What different buffs give you, and how to get each of them. Now, there's 2 major buffs and 4 minor buffs, 6 altogether. And we're not counting dragons or barons or anything, just 6 jungle creatures. And let's start talking about the 2 major buffs. The red buff, it gives you fire damage over time to enemy champions. So when you hit that champion, it will do a little bit more damage to him over time, and it helps a lot. And it helps a lot when you're like after the fight's over, you'll see how much damage it actually did. And I try to gank as much as I possibly can when I have red buff. And now blue buff. For blue buff, you need it gives you 15% more ability power. That's like only if you have any. So obviously that's how it works. Then it also gives you cooldown reduction. But the big thing, the most important part, is the mana regen. And mana regen obviously helps a ton. As a jungler without mana though, you probably want to give it to your mid laner. And now to get those buffs, all you do is have to kill the red buff. If you want the red buff, you kill the red buff. If you want the blue buff, you just kill the blue buff. That's all there is to it. But now on to the 4 minor buffs. There's the wolves, the frog, the raptors, and the stone golems. Now I will explain all of these, but first I want to tell you to get these buffs you don't even have to kill them. So say I want the frog's buff, all I have to do is smite it and I automatically get the buff. There's no reason not to kill it. It's like if you smite the frog and just run away with the buff, it's stupid. There's no point. It's just a cool thing to know that all you do is have to smite it and you automatically have the buff. So there's just something to know. And now I'll explain the 4 different buffs and what they give you. Now starting at the frog, it's like a dumbed down version of the red buff. It gives you damage over time. And it's like poison, and it just doesn't do as much as the red buff, and it's no big deal, not a major buff. And now onto the wolves. When you kill the wolves, remember, keep in mind that you have to smite these guys to get them, any of these 4 minor buffs. The wolves, when you kill them, they will have a moving ward will go around that region of the map. Like, say the wolves are in the bottom left region, when you kill the wolves there, a ward will go around that bottom left region of the map, in your jungle only, to see any enemies that go through, and it will follow them, so that helps. And now the raptors, when you get the buff from them, you can see enemy wards and kill them, obviously, and it lets you hit them so you can destroy them. And it helps when you're ganking, because if you're just sitting in the bush for 10 minutes not knowing the enemy sees you, it won't happen if you have the raptor buff. And now the stone golems, when you hit 5 times on any jungle camps, so this doesn't work on actual players, but any jungle camps, if you hit them 5 times, they will be stunned. And that helps, obviously. And then there's Scuttle Crab, which when you kill that, it puts a big circle around where the middle of around either Dragon Pit or Baron Pit, whatever side you kill the Scuttle Crab on, and any enemies that walk through it will be seen. So that helps. And when you walk through it, it gives you a movement speed boost. Unless it's the enemies, it has to be your guys'. So that's all I have on buffs. That's just the basic tutorial on buffs. Now let's go on to the next topic. Okay, so this next topic is going to be about the starting items for the jungle. As you can see on the screen, that is the Hunter's Machete and the Hunter's Talisman. Those are the two items, the two little sub-items that build into every jungle item. So what we're going to be discussing is which one you should start. And this all depends on if you're a champion that uses mana and what major buff you are starting at, which by major buff I mean red buff or blue buff. And so Hunter's Talisman and Hunter's Machete both give you different stats, and usually it always asks you to start this like one certain one every game, but it's better to go off a different one on different situations. Like when you go, okay, we're gonna start with the champions that don't use mana. It's really simple for them. When you don't use mana, always go Hunter's Machete. It's way better off than going the Hunter's Talisman. Hunter's Machete is the way to go. You don't have to worry about choosing one or the other. Okay, but it's a little different. It's different for champions that do use mana, because the reason you don't go Hunter's Machete, or you don't go Hunter's Talisman for the manaless champions, is because Hunter's Talisman gives you mana regen, and like that's the big part of it. You don't need it. So, and Hunter's Machete gives you the life steal to the jungle camps, which they both obviously help. But if you don't have mana, then there's really there's no reason for the other one. No reason to use it. There's a couple other things it gives you, but nothing big. And so, if you do have mana, when you're starting your red buff side, you want to get Hunter's Talisman because it gives you the mana regen. So if you're starting on red buff, you're not gonna have the blue buff because you won't be there yet, and so you won't have the mana regen from the blue buff. So you want the Hunter's Talisman to give you the mana regen. It helps a ton. And the reason you want to get the Hunter's Machete whenever you go blue buff is because Hunter's Talisman, like I said, gives you mana regen. You don't need two things that give you mana regen, especially this early in the game, because you don't got a lot of mana to regen in the first place. So that's just some basic knowledge of the game that I thought I could share with you guys. But here's a little thing. I didn't even know this. I didn't even think about it for like 6 months of me playing. So the sooner you guys get this, the better, and it will help out a lot. That's why I decided to put it in this video. And it was a very basic thing that I didn't know, just because I didn't see it in the other videos, so I thought I'd include it. Okay, so that's all I have on this topic. Let's go to the next one. Okay, in this part of the video, I'm going to be showing you the most effective way to kite jungle camps. And kiting is sort of making them follow you, so it gives you more time that if you play it right, you'll be able to hit them more, and they're going to be hitting you less. And it gives your abilities more time to come back up, so you'll be able to use your abilities more, and it helps you stay alive longer. And I know a lot of people in lower elo or lower levels have problems with dying to jungle camps, and I can show you how easy it is if you be able to kite effectively. And it will take practice, but trust me, it is worth it to be able to learn how to do this. Now I'm going to give you two examples. I'll go from this to red buff and do both of them, and without a leash. So here we go. You want to try to just kite them back as much as possible. And this is really all there is to it. And my kiting with Warwick's probably not amazing, just because I don't play Warwick that much. And each champion does kite a little differently. And it's something really easy to learn, and it helps a ton. You can't just stand there and basic attack them. You won't get anywhere. So this is the best route to go. Just kiting. Really easy. And I'm going to have more than half health by the time I'm done with this. And if you could keep practicing this, I don't think I've died to a jungle camp in forever, besides for being an idiot and trying to do it with like super low health besides then. Yeah, see? All there really is to it. And look, I'm full health. Just took out 2 jungle camps without a leash. And that's all there is to it. So, thank you guys for watching my video. And if you have any specific questions for me, like, just anything specific that I didn't cover in this video, just ask me in the comments and I'll be sure to comment back. And now it's time for a random moment.